could say that a dying dictatorship these days is defined by its attempt to desperately destroy the internet, and that says quite a lot about the power also of the internet. It isn't only the internet, but it's also the internet when it comes to these developments. What we've done in the Swedish government in the last year or two is to take a number of initiatives in order to highlight these issues, in order to promote human rights on the internet, in order to try to get as wide international acceptance as possible for what should be self-evident, that the rights that we have everywhere else, in the media, freedom of information, human rights, those are the rights that should be protected on the internet as well. Together with the Open Society Initiative, OSI, we have sponsored the work of Frank LaRue, who is preparing a report on the freedom of expression on the internet to the UN Human Rights Council. It will be presented. We've had seminars, I think 2 of them in Stockholm, around the world, I think one in Buenos Aires, another one in Asia, in order to get as many global voices as possible into this debate. But the report will be presented in Geneva on the 3rd of June to the UN Human Rights Council, and related to that we will arrange a side event together with a South African NGO, Association for Progressive Communication, with participants from a number of different countries in order, as I said, to follow up and broaden the impact of this report. We have the debate in the United States, we have the debate in different European countries, but in order really to have a global impact, we need to be globally present with the debate. We will also, within the context of the UN Human Rights Council in Geneva, launch a series of other activities in the coming years to follow up. We'll have a big seminar within the ASEM framework. ASEM is the dialogue between the Asian countries and the European countries in Seoul, dealing specifically with human rights on the internet, and thus trying to bring in more and more of the Asian countries in the dialogue that we have. But we're also giving direct support to those non-governmental organizations that work to liberate the nets from such things as filtering and the use of firewalls to restrict the fundamental rights. Today we support activities in somewhere between 10 and 20 countries all over the world, paying, of course, at the moment, a special attention to the countries in the Middle East and North Africa. And in a special initiative from the beginning of this year, we invited NGOs to come up with new ideas and projects in order to support and strengthen the freedom on the net. The response was great, and we are now giving also economic contributions from our development budget to some of these projects that are now in the pipeline, more to come. All of these initiatives are, of course, based on the strong belief, our strong belief, that freedom of the net should be of paramount importance from a broad and all-embracing perspective that includes not only traditional human rights concerns, but also development perspective of these different countries. Because as we know from experience, it is when you set people free, broadly speaking, that you create the possibilities for societies and economies to develop, be that in Africa, be that in Asia, be that in the Middle East or the North or North Africa. When we look at the countries of the Middle East and North Africa now, we look at their political processes and try to give them the support that we can in organizing election and setting up the institutions of representative government and the rule of the law and all of that. But you all know that they face huge economic and social challenges, the tsunami of demographic change that is sweeping across that part of the world. And if we should make it possible for them to answer positively also to the economic and social challenge, and not only the political ones, they need to liberalize and set free the energy of individuals and entrepreneurs, of economic activities, and this is not possible without setting free also the possibilities of all of the new communication technologies. The freedom of the net is an essential part in meeting not only the political challenge of these countries, but also the enormous economic and social challenges that they and the other countries are facing in the years to come. Globalization is the mega trend of our age. That is something that I keep repeating everywhere, wherever I go, whatever the context. And I belong to those that are convinced that globalization, for all of the strain of the changes that comes with it, is something that is going to bring us into a better world. It's not only the hundreds and hundreds of millions of people who are given the opportunity to leave poverty behind, and the dramatic increases in things like life expectancy, the quality of life that we can witness, not forgetting what is remaining. But the progress has been phenomenal. That speaks so clearly in favor of an open world and an open world economy. It's also the fact that an open world and an open world economy, as we have seen lately, gradually break down barriers, penetrate the prejudices, disrupt dictatorships, and set people and nations free. But then we must take what is the most important instrument of change in our time, the internet, which has been so important in the years behind us, that will be even more important in the years to come, to make certain that the freedom of that net and the freedom on that net is preserved and strengthened. And that is why, in my opinion, this is one of the most important political questions in the years to come. Thanks.